The story begins in Ireland as police vehicles surround a quiet bungalow from all sides. The operation is intense and urgent. Authorities say the homeowner, Artemis Fowl, is one of the world's most dangerous thieves, and this raid is meant to bring him down. In the commotion, a reporter sees the police have already arrested someone. It isn't Artemis. The man is dragged far from the bungalow and transported to an interrogation site in the middle of the ocean, where questioning officially begins. He's Mulch Degums. Under pressure, the police demand one answer. Where is Artemis Fowl hiding? Mulch stays calm and says they don't even understand who the real mind behind it all is. Then he drops the twist. The mastermind isn't the father, it's his young son, also named Artemis Fowl. We cut to Artemis Fowl Jr. at school. He hates it because he's already beyond everyone around him. At 12, he knows more than most of his teachers. He's a chess prodigy and a science prodigy too. Experiments, projects, awards, proof his mind is years ahead. But that brilliance curdles into arrogance, and he starts talking back to teachers with open disrespect. After school, Artemis returns home excited, hoping for time with his father. Instead, Artemis Fowl Sr. announces another business trip. Artemis admits he hates being separated. His father promises the work is almost finished. Within a few days it will end, and then he'll stay with Artemis for good. Soon after, Artemis watches him board a private helicopter and disappear into the sky. The next morning, a scream echoes through the mansion. Artemis rushes out and finds Domovoi Butler, the family's loyal bodyguard left behind to protect him, tense, distracted, and urgently talking on the phone. At breakfast, the TV delivers a shock. The government claims Artemis Fowl Sr. isn't a businessman at all, but the world's most notorious thief, accused of stealing priceless artifacts from major museums, treasures with enormous value in human history. Authorities admit they have no idea where he is, and to make it worse, his luxury yacht has been found abandoned in the middle of the ocean. With no trace of him and evidence piling up, the mystery only deepens. Hearing this, Artemis grows restless and wants to go after his father, but Butler stops him, saying he's already sent his own people to track Artemis Fowl Sr. Then the mansion phone rings. Artemis snatches it before Butler can. A mysterious voice says, Artemis's father is captive, and there's only one way to see him again. Return Aculos. Artemis agrees, on one condition. He asks what Aculos is. The caller laughs, saying he's heard Artemis is exceptionally intelligent, so he should figure it out himself. The call ends. Artemis turns to Domovoi Butler for answers. Butler tells him to follow and activates a hidden mechanism. A secret passage opens into the underground basement. Down there, Butler reveals Artemis's father's headquarters. Every item was taken for a reason, he says. Nothing is random. But Butler admits something troubling. Despite years at Artemis's father's side, he has never heard the name Bestes Aculos. Artemis becomes sure his father left a clue. He remembers the bedtime poem his father recited every night. Using the verses like coded hints, he searches drawers and compartments until he finds a diary. The final entry points to a specific individual, someone who knows everything about the theft of Aculos and holds the key to the truth. That discovery triggers another realization. Since childhood, Artemis's father told him stories of elves and magical beings. Artemis always dismissed them as bedtime tales. Now he understands. They're real. Hidden from humans, the magical world exists in Haven City, an underground home of the elves. We shift there and meet Captain Holly Short. On her way to an official meeting, she sees broadcasts about Aculos. The message is clear. Aculos isn't just valuable, it's vital to the balance and survival of their world. Holly soon crosses paths with Mulch Degums, facing punishment for theft. Desperate, Mulch asks for her help, pitching them as an unbeatable team, his stealing skills plus her magic. Holly ignores him and walks away. In that brief distraction, Mulch steals something from her. Not long after, a prisoner named Briar Cudgeon is released from a Haven City prison by the same villain who kidnapped Artemis's father. The villain orders Briar to obey, explaining he needs someone who can infiltrate the elf military so Aculos can be recovered quickly enough. At the meeting, Commander Root tells the soldiers they're on active duty until Aculos is found. Nothing matters more. He warns that humans must never learn the elf world exists, and any violation will be severely punished. When Holly steps forward with a new lead tied to her father's killer, Root shuts her down. Personal matters can wait. The only priority is Aculos. Back in the human world, Domovoy Butler brings in his niece, Juliet Butler. Juliet is skilled at tracking people and uncovering digital trails. Artemis stays buried in his father's systems and secret records, searching for leads. Juliet suggests he take a break and rest, but Artemis shuts it down, insisting he doesn't need help and already knows how to find his father. Artemis has reached a conclusion. To locate Artemis Fowl Sr., he'll need the elves, but their world is hidden from humans, and they would never willingly help a human. In the Ferry Command Center, Fowl gets an alert that Commander Root is on his way. Root arrives with Captain Holly Short and announces a crisis. A prisoner has escaped to the surface world. With most Ferry soldiers assigned to recovering Aculos, the mission is handed to Holly. She accepts as Fowl and Root brief her. Holly flies to a small town in Italy where locals panic over a monster. In truth, it's an escaped troll. When it grabs a young girl, Holly strikes its head, forcing it to throw the child aside, then catches her before she hits the ground. Ferry soldiers use magic to heal the girl's injuries, ensuring she survives without lasting harm. Holly tries to restrain the troll with high-energy cables, but it grabs her and overpowers her. To save her, Ferry Command triggers a time stop mid-fight. Instantly, time freezes for every human in the area. The world stands still. Reinforcements arrive, capture the troll, and erase the memories of all humans who witnessed Holly, keeping the fairy world secret. After the mission, Holly defies Root's warnings and threats, declaring she will restore her father's lost honor no matter the consequences. Meanwhile, Artemis studies his father's diary and learns two crucial truths. His father once sought the elves' help to protect the human world, and the true enemy behind Aculos is Opal Cowboy. Using locations from the diary, Artemis arranges a meeting with Holly. The moment he spots her, Butler fires and knocks her unconscious. Ferry systems detect Holly's signal has gone dark. Root activates alarms and launches a rescue operation. Hours later, Holly wakes inside Artemis's containment cage and tries to use fairy magic to control everyone, but Artemis wears protective glasses that block its effects. He says he wants his father back and needs her help, yet admits he captured her to bring her people here. Holly warns a powerful attack is coming. Within minutes, a storm forms around the mansion as the elves arrive. Anticipating their move, Artemis secures Holly's weapons, ready for what comes next. Meanwhile, Domovoy Butler strips the last concealed weapon from Holly's combat suit, leaving her disarmed. At that instant, a time stop activates again, and the elf army assaults the mansion. Commander Root arrives in combat armor to lead. While her forces spread out to find Holly, Artemis decides to act. He pulls on his suit and, with Butler, stands his ground. The moment the elves spot them, they charge. Artemis and Butler fight back and hold the line. In the chaos, Artemis grabs a fallen fairy helmet and sends Root a message. Yes, if she wants Holly alive, she must come inside to talk. Alone. Root enters to negotiate. She warns him her army is massive, and the next strike will be full force. Artemis stays calm. If they attack again, he says, he'll expose the elves to the entire human world. Then he names his condition. Holly is released only if Root hands over Aculos. Root refuses. Artemis gives them 15 minutes to reconsider. As the standoff worsens, Root issues a special order. Mulch Diggums is released from prison and deployed. Inside, Artemis finally tells Holly what happened to his father and how his name was ruined. It hits Holly hard because her own father was disgraced the same way. Still, she chooses to trust Artemis and help uncover the truth behind Aculos. To prove his trust back, Artemis removes his protective glasses. He reveals what the diary says. The guardian of Aculos was Beechwood Short. Holly freezes. Beechwood Short was her father. He knew Aculos was dangerously powerful, so he hid it forever. But the magical world branded him a traitor and destroyed his honor. Artemis realizes their pasts are connected. Just then, Juliet Butler spots an unfamiliar aircraft approaching and alerts Artemis. Outside, Mulch reaches Root. She offers a deal: dig a tunnel to the mansion quickly and his sentence will be reduced. Mulch agrees. Near the coastline, he opens his mouth impossibly wide, devours soil, and tunnels fast until he breaks through into the mansion. Butler senses the breach and informs Artemis. Artemis understands. Mulch was sent to rescue Holly. Mulch's thief instincts flare. He finds a hidden compartment, and Artemis orders Butler to let him open it. Sure, it's crucial. Artemis tells Holly that together they can uncover what really happened to both their fathers. Mulch unlocks the secret chamber and uses his magic, controlling the hair on his head, to bypass the metal security screen. The compartment opens and Mulch finally grabs Aculos as Artemis and Holly arrive. Holly warns Artemis, a human can't use Aculos alone. Its power could kill him. Before Artemis can grasp what it truly is, Mulch secretly passes that warning to Root. The news also reaches Opal Cowboy, who sends Briar Cudgeon to the mansion at once. At the same time, the command center reports another crisis. The time-stop dome around the estate has begun to glitch. Briar Cudgeon uses the chaos to arrest Commander Root, announcing the ministers have chosen a new leader, him. Root is in full combat armor, ready to lead, but Briar moves first and tries to put her in cuffs. Root fights back, dropping the guards around her, but Briar mocks her for turning a simple mission into a disaster and says he'll use a new strategy. A massive elven aircraft appears over the mansion. Briar reveals the plan: unleash a troll on the estate. Panic spreads as the roar closes in, humans scatter, and with Root sidelined, Briar controls the army. He bans magic inside the mansion and declares, saving Holly is no longer important. Her father was a traitor, he claims. The troll is launched from a machine and slams into the mansion, shaking the ground. Butler races through the halls to draw it away, while Artemis and Juliet scramble for a way to stop it before the place is destroyed. Holly is trapped in a huge chandelier. Mulch rushes to save her and ends up dangling from the same chandelier. Artemis and Butler shove a heavy sofa down as a barrier. Artemis moves to lift it. Then the chandelier cracks overhead. Butler shoves Artemis aside. Artemis is safe, but the troll's full weight crashes onto Butler. Everyone panics and pulls him out from under it. Outside, the time-stop dome begins breaking apart, damaging the elven army caught inside. Artemis begs Holly to heal Butler, but her magic is still blocked. Barely conscious, Butler tells them not to worry. Outside, an elf captain coldly says anyone meant to die has probably already died. Too much time has passed, the threat is over, and Holly's powers should return. The instant her magic comes back, Holly heals Butler. The elf army starts retreating as the time-stop dome collapses. The group gathers on the balcony, then splits. Artemis, Juliet, and Butler rush inside while Holly and Mulch move outside. Outside, Holly rescues a fisherman trapped mid-air, but a violent whirlpool catches her as she tries to escape. Mulch digs a tunnel and disappears underground. Holly breaks free without serious injury, just as the time-stop device malfunctions completely, triggering a massive explosion in the sky. Back in Haven City, Root orders Holly to return, but she refuses. She won't go back until her father's name is cleared, so she returns to the mansion to stand with Artemis. With Aculos in hand, everyone gathers in the library. Holly channels its power to bring Artemis Fowl Sr. back. Opal Cowboy calls Artemis, saying he has failed. Since Aculos hasn't reached her, she vows his father will be destroyed forever. Holly pushes harder, but Opal hits them with a devastating attack. For a moment, it looks like Artemis's father is dead. Artemis breaks, running through the mansion and shouting for him, while Holly apologizes, unable to save him. Then a burst of magic ignites in another room. Artemis rushes in and finds his father alive. They reunite at last, holding on tight as Opal watches from elsewhere and screams when her plan collapses. When Artemis Sr. meets Holly, he tells her what she's waited to hear. He and Beechwood Short worked together. Beechwood was never a traitor. He was loyal, brave, and Artemis's ally. Together, they hid and protected Achelos from the elves' enemies, keeping it out of dangerous hands. Artemis Sr. also shares what he knows of Opal's crimes, explaining Beechwood's final wish was for that truth to reach Holly. Butler embraces his boss in relief. Holly and Artemis share a quiet farewell, hands clasped, knowing it may be goodbye. Back in Haven City, Holly presents the evidence to Root. Her father's name is cleared, she's promoted, and the investigation is placed in her hands. Artemis calls Opal one last time, warning he will bring her to justice. Then he boards a helicopter with his father and they fly away, picking up Mulch Diggum soon after, ending the journey.